Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. Let us continue with the chapter Control and Coordination. In the previous session we were discussing about the system which is helping in this process in the human beings. We started about the nervous system, and the another system which functions for the same purpose is the hormonal system. We introduced in the previous session that it can be known as the glandular system, because it is never necessary that all type of secretions are the hormones only. So this process which is controlled by the hormones is actually known as an endocrine system. We know that there are different types of glands like autocrine, paracrine, exocrine and the endocrine. In each type, the type of secretion is of course different, but they are serving as the chemical messengers. They are helping in the control of various specific functions of the different type of tissues or the cells. Then they are controlling the cells which are present at the different location in our body. So endocrine system is the one in which the secretion is a type of hormone, and this hormone is actually transported to the target site through the blood. This is the specialty or a specific feature for this endocrine system. So in the previous session we had already explained the various locations in the body where these particular glands are situated. Right? Let us just have a review of that diagram, and then we will continue further. So these are the various glands which are present in our body: hypothalamus, pineal glands, then the pituitary gland, parathyroid, thyroid, thymus, then liver, adrenal gland, pancreas, not the kidney, right? Kidney is not a gland. And also one more thing, liver, it is not an endocrine gland, right? It is an exocrine gland. Now further, next is ovary or the testes in male, and all these are the various glands located in our body. Now further, in the previous session we had discussed about the hypothalamus, pineal body and the pituitary gland, and all these three are located in the towards the interior side of the brain. Now these are actually present at towards the roof of the cerebrum or the forebrain, or you can say nearer to the hindbrain and the midbrain. And of course all these three glands are present very near to each other. What is hypothalamus doing here, or what is the secretion of this particular gland? They are secreting the hormones which are controlling the function of the pituitary gland. And what is the function of pituitary gland? It is secreting different kind of hormones which are having very important role in our body. Let us say, for example, growth hormone, which supports the growth of the body by elongating the by elongating the bones and developing the muscle cells. So in short, they can affect our increase in height or weight and so on. Besides that, they are secreting out the hormones like oxytocin and the prolactin. Now these are linked with the features of the female, right? In that case, they are actually serving for the secretion of milk from the breast. These are helping in the contraction and relaxations of the muscles which are supporting the child's birth. Of course, which must be related to uterus and the cervix in the female body. Then besides this, it is secreting a hormone known as vasopressin, or it is also known as antidiuretic hormone. This vasopressin is controlling the amount of water released out from the body in the form of urine. So it helps in the reabsorption of the excess of water into the blood. So in this way they are having a specific function. Pituitary gland not only secreting these hormones, it is even secreting a hormone which is which can control the functions of all these other type of the endocrine glands. So now in today's session we will continue with the further different type of hormones which are controlling different functions in a living system. So the another hormone the another gland which is located after the brain in the neck region is the thyroid and the parathyroid. Now these glands, they are present in a pair. This thyroid as well as parathyroid, they both are located in your neck region, and they are present in a pair. So if it is in a pair, then one is towards the left side, the another one is towards the right side, right? So the exact position of thyroid gland is in front of larynx, a little bit towards the upper side. And larynx, what is this? You remember? It is a sound box. It is known as a voice box, or sometimes even it is known as an Adam's apple, right? So this particular gland is situated in front of this particular larynx. And parathyroid is having a location at the back of thyroid. At the back of thyroid means it is slightly lower to the thyroid, and we can say a pair is situated towards the back side, towards the in the downside. What does it mean? Don't get confused here, right? See, if we just for your clearance regarding this point, we are just making a rough location or just a rough diagram. Suppose this is one pair of thyroid gland, then behind this there will be the presence of another gland which is known as the parathyroid. So one behind the other, but slightly towards the downside. This is how these particular glands are located. Now next is the hormone which is secreted by each of the gland. So thyroid is actually secreting a hormone which is known as thyroxine. What does this thyroxine doing? What is the function of this hormone? This hormone is controlling the regulation of organic compounds. That means regulation of metabolism. You know very well what is metabolism. Metabolism is a sum of all of the biochemical reactions taking place inside a living system. So these reactions, they can be either anabolic or catabolic. So these thyroxine, they control this type of metabolism of what? Of carbohydrate, of fat and protein molecules inside a living system. That how much carbohydrate is to be metabolized, and then how much it has to be reverted back to the simple form or complex form. All these processes are actually regulated by the compound or the hormone known as thyroxine. This particular thyroxine is actually active when it binds with the iodine molecule. Now this is a very important point now. Iodine, it is actually, see, thyroxine is secreted, right? But if this iodine is not attached to this particular thyroxine, it is not going to be activated. So further it cannot control the regulation or the metabolism also. Right. So thyroxine can bind with the iodine molecule which forms iodothyroxine, and then it is functioning in a particular living organism. Now the point is, what if iodine is not present? So the deficiency of iodine can lead to the malfunctioning of this particular hormone, right? This hormone, although even if it is present, it is not going to function over there. Right. So such a situation can lead to the swelling of your neck region. You must have seen in some pictures, there is a very huge mass accumulated here in the neck region. Right. There is a swelling up of a neck region, and that disease is known as goiter. So that goiter is a disease which is because of the malfunctioning of this particular hormone and is usually because of the iodine deficiency. And this is the reason why the even government has set these norms that particular such amount of iodine should be supplied everywhere, and so nowadays it is included in the normal table salts also. And so this is how the cases have been minimized. Now another point is that these particular hormones, let us say this thyroxine only, it is secreted by thyroid, there is no doubt in that, but this is secretion occurs when this when this gland is stimulated or when it is activated. So how this activation occurs? It can release this hormone, but before that activation is required. So that activation or stimulation is performed by the hormone secreted by the pituitary gland, and that hormone is normally known as TSH, that is thyroid stimulatory hormone. So this stimulatory hormone which is secreted by the pituitary gland will activate the thyroid gland, and thus the thyroxine would be released. So in the absence of that stimulatory hormone, thyroxine could not be released out, isn't it? So this is how the this chain is actually maintained, and this is the reason why pituitary gland is known as the master gland, because it is controlling the functions of other endocrine glands also. Now here in this case, now if stimulatory hormone has been secreted out and it has activated the thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine, but further, is this so that thyroxine is supposed to be secreted all the time? No. Once the required amount has come into the blood, the function of thyroid has to be stopped. It has to be inhibited. So another kind of hormone would be secreted by the pituitary gland, which will further stop the functioning of this thyroid gland. So the release of thyroxine would be stopped or it would be inhibited. And this is how this control or regulation takes place in a body. The parathyroid gland, it is secreting the hormone which is known as parathyroxine. Now this parathyroxine, it is controlling the metabolism of several minerals, especially the calcium. Now one of the type of this parathyroxine is calcitonin. A calcitonin is a hormone, right, which is secreted by the parathyroid, and this calcitonin regulates the metabolism of calcium and phosphate in the blood. And thus we say that this parathyroid is actually it is linked with or it is associated with the metabolism of calcium and the phosphate molecules. Again, the control, this function is under the control of the pituitary gland. Further, the next gland is the thymus. This thymus is located nearer to the heart. It is basically in the chest cavity. Now this particular gland is secreting out the hormone which is known as thymosin. This thymosin is quite a very important hormone and is actually it is regulating the immunity type of functions of the body. Now how this immunity is maintained in the body? You know what is immunity? It is a property of an organism so as to fight against the infectants or the pathogens or the antigens, right? Whenever there is some foreign particle coming into our body, the white blood cells start multiplying. They will start fighting against those particular foreign particles, right? Now for this particular process, initially the lymphocytes, they have to be proliferated, right? They have to grow. So this growth is actually linked with the thymosin. How this thymosin regulates the growth? It will stimulate the proliferation of the lymphocytes. That means basically this thymosin is activating the secretion of specific growth factors. So as these specific growth factors start secreting, they will also help in the proliferation of the lymphocytes. And this is how these lymphocytes, as they get proliferated, they are going to be, initially of course they are going to recognize the particular antigen, and then they need to proliferate accordingly. So initial this step requires the activation for multiplication, and that multiplication is controlled by the thymosin hormone. So students, next gland is adrenal gland, where this adrenal gland is located. It is located towards the anterior side of the kidney. You remember the diagram? As we had stated earlier also, that kidney which is shown in the diagram is not a gland, but it is shown so as to explain the position of these adrenal glands. They are again situated as a pair, one on the other, anterior side of the kidney. See, this is a kidney here. Let us just have a rough diagram of this particular structure. So if this is a pair of kidney, towards the anterior side means towards upside, that means it is somewhere here towards inner side. So this is where the position of the adrenal gland is, and of course it is present as a pair. Now these particular glands are of course again very important, and they are meant for secreting the hormone which is known as adrenaline hormone and the corticoids. These corticoids, they are involved in the metabolism and the regulation of mineral balance. So this metabolism of various minerals is actually maintained by the corticoid hormone. So just to make a correction here, this end is written, so it is basically the metabolism and balancing of the minerals in the body. Right. Now the another important hormone which is secreted here is the adrenaline gland. This adrenaline gland is functioning in our body in a very interesting way. You know, it is regulating the blood pressure of an individual, heart rate, respiratory rate or the breathing rate during or under the unusual conditions. Now what this unusual conditions means, that is what making this particular thing very interesting. So unusual condition means when there is a state of some excitement, when you are you're so joyful. So in the condition like when the condition is different from the normal system, like when you are feeling, you are very sad, you feel the sorrow, then crying, you are scared of something, or you are very angry, or you are so excited, and under these conditions, basically what you are doing, you can personally experience the thing, you can personally think that what is actually happening during this particular condition. If you are excited, what do? You shout aloud, right? You just start jumping at that time, right? That means your limbs are functioning in a very energetic way, right? Have you experienced such type of things anytime in your life? Similarly, if you're very angry, right, when you are suppose you are hurt due to something and you feel like fighting with that person, what happens at that time? For fighting you need energy, isn't it? You either, if you're fighting these muscles, they need more and more contraction and relaxation. Which muscles? If you feel to beat something, your skeletal muscles or your limbs, they should function in a very increased manner, in a very hyper manner, isn't it? Or if you are fighting just verbally, at that time you are just you need to say something, like anything rubbish you are saying, and all that is something which is spoken with a high volume or something. All that needs a contraction of the muscles, isn't it? You need extra energy at that time. Suppose you are scared, suppose a dog is running behind you, it is chasing you, then what do? There may be two situations. If you are strong enough, you will stay and you will just try to scare back the dog, isn't it? You will throw a stone, you will just do some action so that the dog is going to run away. Or else if you're scared, what will you do? You start running, isn't it? You will run away from the situation. In each case, your skeletal muscle, they have to function in a hyper manner, right? How it is taking place. That is what this adrenaline is doing here. They are supplying, they are making your body excited. Now how this happens, we will just have a brief explanation of this thing. So during such a condition, when this adrenaline is secreted, right, this hormone is secreted under some abnormal condition or some, it's not abnormal actually, it is a normal condition, but it is making you behave in an unusual way, whether it is towards the positive side or it is towards the negative side. That means in a depressed manner or in a hyper manner, and in each condition we can say like you feel crying or whatever. For that you need extra energy. So how this extra energy is provided to that particular target site, let us just have a brief explanation of this thing. So basically what happens? Initially, as this adrenaline, the various target sites for this hormone is, for the first thing is, the very first target site is the heart. So this adrenaline is having an effect over the muscles of the heart, and as this heart is affected, the muscles are affected, the cardiac contraction cycle is going to vary. So it will allow the rapid contraction and relaxation of the heart muscles. Due to this, what will happen? The heartbeat will increase. So initially you must have experienced this increase in the heartbeat during the excited or these hyper conditions, right? As this heartbeat increases, what will happen? The heart rate or this the blood flow is going to increase, right? And since this blood flow is linked with the oxygen supply, so more and more oxygen supply will start the oxygen flow will also increase. So that means more and more gaseous exchange should take place so as to support the increased contraction and relaxation of the heart muscles. So next target site for this adrenaline will be the respiratory system. So this respiration rate is going to further increase over there. The rate increases. Which rate? Breathing rate. How this rate is going to increase here? It is because of the contraction and relaxation of the diaphragm, the muscles associated with the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles of the ribs. We have already studied about the respiration process, how it takes place, isn't it? The first thing is what? The intercostal muscles, which help in the movement of ribs, and the muscles which are associated with the diaphragm. They will start contracting and relaxing at a rapid rate, and as this contraction and relaxation increases, the respiration rate alternatively also increases. Now as the respiration rate increases, oxygen supply would be increased. Now what will happen? Now as this oxygen supply increase, so now the blood flow will take place towards a particular direction. How this blood is flowing here? It is through the blood vessels, isn't it? So these blood vessels, they are showing this particular flow. Now which side this flow is going to take place? As the flow has been increased by the heart, so these blood vessels should be able to cope up with the condition, right? Now for this, what is happening actually? The blood vessels which are present towards the stomach and the skin, they gets constricted, right? As these gets constricted, what will happen? The blood flow towards the stomach and skin would skin would be minimized. Right. Now where this will be it will be directed? It will be towards the limbs. The blood vessels which are linked with the limbs of the body, or we can say which are associated with the skeletal muscles of the body, they will become dilated. So as they get dilated, what will happen? The blood flow will increase towards your limbs. Now, the action what you are taking, like suppose when you are excited, you are jumping, right? For that, your skeletal muscles, they should function at a fast rate. And for that, they need energy. How the energy is provided? By this oxygen supplied through the blood vessels. So more flow towards this particular limbs means more and more oxygen is supplied towards the limbs. And at that time you must have actually experienced, you do not feel so hungry, isn't it? When you are fighting with each other, or you are scared, some the very unusual thing happens in your stomach also. Why that is happening? It is because of the constriction of blood vessels towards the stomach. So this is how we are getting extra energy to give response to a particular situation. Now, just imagine one thing. If this increased rate is now not brought down to normal, what will happen? That means what? If this adrenaline is not controlled, it is secreted and then it is not suppressed back, you will remain in the excited state only, isn't it? You will keep on jumping. Is this a normal behavior? No. Is it happening all the time? No. Then how is it controlled? So it is further controlled by another type of hormone secreted here, that is known as NonAdrenaline. And that is having the opposite function as we had discussed about the adrenaline. So it will help in bringing down the situation to the calm position, and thus they are helping us in behaving in the unusual conditions, and of course behaving as normal and all that. Now this type of secretion by the adrenal gland is also under the control of the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland will give command to this adrenal gland that which type of hormone you have to secrete. So the commands which are given, they are in the form of different type of hormones. A type of hormone is secreted which is activating the secretion of adrenaline from the adrenal gland, and oppositely sometimes it is secreting another type of hormone which will suppress the secretion of adrenaline, or which will increase the secretion of activate the secretion of the noradrenaline gland. So this is how this adrenal gland is having a great role in our body. So now we will continue further in the next session, and we will study about various different types of glands furthermore. So thank you so much. Till then, have a nice day. Goodbye.